In this lesson, we are going to talk about verbs and the difference between regular verbs and irregular verbs. As you know, verbs are action words. Some verbs can be regular and others can be irregular. Regular verbs are when you find the verb, if you add a D, an ED, or an IED to the end of the verb, it still makes sense. Irregular verbs is when the word completely changes. Here are some examples of regular verbs and irregular verbs. You'll notice for regular verbs, the present tense of care means to care for somebody, and the past tense is cared. And if you can add a D to the end of the verb, then it's a regular verb. Walk is present tense. Walked is past tense, and in this example I added an ED, so it's a regular verb. Supply is present tense, supplied is past tense, and I added an IED to the end of that word. Examples of irregular verbs are where you still have a verb, but it changes from present tense to past tense. You're not adding a D, an ED, or an IED. The word completely changes. For example, you feel, but past tense you felt. You go or you went. You bring or you brought. You run or you ran. So just remember the difference between regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular verbs are verbs that can have a D, an ED, or an IED added to the end and still make sense. Irregular verbs are verbs that change completely from present tense to past tense by their spelling.